Shalom, my brothers and sisters. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Welcome to Day by Day Reflections and Thoughts to Yashar'al, Nation of Believers. My name is Symmanayah. If you are tuning in for the first time, you will come to know that Yashar'al, Nation of Believers, of whom I reference, consists of all nations, all individuals who seek to worship and obey Almighty Yahuwah. Those who understand that it is Yahusha, our Mashiach, our Messiah, that we are restored into fellowship, that we are regenerated by his atonement, blood, his sacrifice, his resurrection. Yes, it is you who I consider my brothers and my sisters, my family. These messages are addressed to you. In this segment, I want to address Ancient of Days versus Old. Ancient of Days versus Old. Remember, first, there was Aleph Ta. Aleph Ta, he who was the beginning, is the beginning and the end. Who is able to discern the origins of wickedness? It is he who understands where it began. It is he who will reward wickedness with death. It is Almighty Yahuwah. And it is through his spirit that we are able to discern the difference between righteousness and unrighteousness. The Almighty Father Yahuwah is the beginning and the end. This is who we should look for our deliverance. Rebellion and wickedness is old. Since the days in the garden, but it was, is, and will continue to mark the time of broken fellowship. People have studied and continue to study many books. They look for ancient artifacts unknowingly that they are filled also with distractions and deceits. Wickedness is old, my brothers and sisters. This is why we should totally depend on he that is ancient of days, he that created all, he that was before old. The Almighty Father Yahuwah was before old. Artifacts, old writings, and other dated materials do not supersede he that is Aleph Ta, the beginning and the end. No man have seen the Almighty Yahuwah and lived. The reflection of the Most High can only be seen in his word manifest in the flesh, Yahusha, the sacrificed and resurrected Mashiach, our Messiah. There are so many people who think by researching, gathering pictures and writings that they have discovered something most righteous with the eyes. This is far from the truth. Though they may find old writings and ancient relics and dated material, I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, it is the righteous, set-apart Spirit of Yahusha that makes alive and that makes known. These earthen vessels that we possess are influenced by the unseen. Our original fellowship was not forged by what we can see with our eyes, for the Almighty Yahuwah is everywhere at all times. He sees all. He knows all. I have witnessed people consuming much time trying to find old writings, old books, old pictures, thinking this will solve their quest. I cannot stress enough, my brothers and sisters, life and life immeasurably is discovered by finding the Almighty Ancient of Days, he who is Aleph Ta. This can only be found by Yahusha. Yahuwah saves. Yahuwah's salvation, our Mashiach, our Messiah. Yahusha, who is Yahuwah's word made flesh. It is by the sacrifice and resurrection that we are given. It is by his sacrifice and resurrection that we are given an opportunity to be restored with the Almighty Father Yahuwah. It is by Yahusha that the breath of life he breathed into us is restored into fellowship with him. Pray. Pray earnestly with a mind and heart to worship and obey the Almighty Father Yahuwah. Pray and seek to discern and understand, to discover that he, the Almighty Father Yahuwah, sent his set-apart spirit in Yahusha's name, as I reference so often John 14:26. Again, before there were old writings, before there were old pictures, before there were artifacts, there was, is, and will always be he that is ancient of days, Aleph Tah, the beginning and the end. Let us grow to discern and understand what is righteous. Let us establish a ready mind, body, and soul to respond to he who teaches us and bring things to our remembrance. Yahusha is his name. Yahusha makes alive. Yahusha reveals and uncovers. Yahusha teaches and brings to remembrance. Yahusha, our Mashiach, our Messiah. He makes restoration and regeneration possible by his atonement and resurrection. Who is able to come to realize the living relationship that is possible with our Mashiach, our Messiah? Who is able to discern that we lift up Yahusha in our worship and obedience? Can we accept the scriptures to be true? Can we accept that the scriptures informs us Yahusha, if he be lifted up, it is he that will draw all men to himself? Can we accept that it is the set-apart spirit that the Father, the Almighty Yahuwah, sent in Yahusha's name, that makes alive all and any scriptures? Our sovereign, our mediator, our Mashiach, our Messiah. He is our provider of restored fellowship with the Almighty Father and Creator, Yahuwah. Yahusha is he who restored that fellowship. Yahusha is his name. Come, let us bathe into some scriptures. Genesis 1:26 read, and Elohim said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness, and let them rule over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the livestock, and over all the earth, and over all creeping creatures that creep on the earth. Daniel 7:9 reads, and I read that to let you see that it is Elohim, it is Almighty Yahuwah, who is the creator of all. Daniel 7:9 reads, I was looking until thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. His throne was flames of fire, its wheels burning fire. Daniel 7:13 says, I was looking in the night vision and saw one like the son of Enosh, coming with the cloud of the heavens, and he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Revelations 1:8 reads, I am the Aleph and the Tah, beginning and the end, says Yahuwah, who is, who was, and who is to come, the Almighty. Revelation 1:11, saying, I am the Aleph and the Tah, the first and the last. Write in a book what you see and send it to the 7 assemblies of Asia, to Ephesus, to Smyrna, to Pergamos, to Thyatira, to Sardis, to Philadelphia, and to Laodicea. Many people miss when he talk about those 7 assemblies that there are instructions that are applicable to today, to current conditions. Many have just isolated Laodicea to say that we're in the age of Laodicea. I submit to you, my brothers, these 7 assemblies, we fit into one of these categories. Let us pray and ask that the Spirit reveal to us clarity on that matter. Getting back to Ancient of Days versus Old. Revelation 21:6 said, and he said to me, it's done. I am the Aleph and the Tah, the beginning and the end. To the one who thirsts I shall give of the fountain of water of life without payment. Revelation 22:13, I am the Aleph and Tah, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. And let me present something else for us to consider. Exodus 20 verse 4, you do not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, or which is in the earth beneath, or which is in the waters under the earth. This is the second commandment. And the third commandment, you do not bring the name of Yahuwah your Elohim to naught, for Yahuwah does not leave the one unpunished who brings his name to naught. How many of us realize when we just magnify the word Ruach, which means spirit, or Ruach HaKodesh, which means set apart spirit, that's not mentioning his name. I'm not saying that spirit or set apart spirit is wrong. Let me say that again. I'm not saying spirit and set apart spirit is wrong. However, I am persuaded, I am compelled, I am strongly influenced by the Spirit of Yahusha to believe that we are in the season where it would be wise for us to acknowledge his name and lift him up in our worship and obedience. So just think on that, my brothers. Pray on that. Whether you will begin to say the Spirit of Yahusha, the Spirit of Yahuwah, versus Ruach HaKodesh, or just Ruach. Which one should be magnified the most? The second and third commandments seem to be ignored, and many are unaware that they contribute to such distractions. If you notice, most of us remember when he talks about do not make carved images, but that portion of the second commandment, but we tend to ignore the part that states, or any likeness of that which is in the heavens above, which is in the earth beneath, which is in the waters under the earth. We tend to glaze over and neglect the rest of the second commandment all too often, unknowingly. We're wearing garments with embroidery, names on it, and symbols like the 7-pronged candlesticks, the menorah. I've even seen in some cases a 10-pronged menorah. I've seen us post what we think is supposed to be Yahuwah's name in the modern Hebrew, the ancient Hebrew, Paleo Hebrew. Where in Scripture were we told to write his name on our garments? Where in Scripture were we told to put images of his name on us? Yes, we see an example where the priests put symbols of the 12 tribes on their chests, on their breastplate. But I cannot find scriptures that tell us, instruct us to portray his name. You see, we can say Yahuwah, my brothers and sisters. We read Yahuwah. But were we instructed to stay away from vain images and likenesses? Pray on this, my brothers and sisters. Pray on this and watch. Who has considered that if we only embrace the scriptures as our written guide, made alive by the Spirit of Yahusha, we would be absent of these other distractions? Case in point, we were instructed to avoid all these other images. This includes books, writings that were not, let me say this again, that were not ordered by the Most High Father Yahuwah. But there are writings and books inspired and ordered by the Most High. There are books that have been established as representative of the scriptures, and there are individuals whose hands and minds and bodies have been anointed to present material to us. Yes, my brothers and sisters, if we can only identify what has been inspired and moved by the living Almighty Father. For some reason, we ignore the importance of building a living relationship with the Almighty Father, and thus man have come to give themselves credit for something that they have no clue to its origins. In other words, so many of us will pat ourselves on the back and say, oh yeah, I wrote this book, I wrote this, with less and little emphasis on as I was led by the Spirit of Yahusha, or as I was guided by the Almighty Father, Yahuwah. So many people patting themselves on the back, selling books, giving books away free. Either or, my brothers and sisters. Where is the credit to the Most High? Where is the credit to the set-apart Spirit Yahusha? Where are the actions that lift him up? And some we see, and some we do not. Yes, my brothers and sisters, we serve a living Elohim, a creator, Yahuwah, who can only be realized by accepting Yahusha as Mashiach. Our growth, our maturity begins with the unseen. It begins with discerning and understanding that there is a set-apart Spirit, the Almighty Father Yahuwah, sent in Yahusha's name. When we come to give credit to He that guides, teaches us, and brings things to our remembrance, then we may just find ourselves lifting Him up. Yahusha is His name. While many may think that I'm saying other books, writings, recordings are wrong, let me say again, that's not so. Please be mindful. My words were, writings that are not ordered by the Most High are a distraction. I am persuaded to believe that many of us may not have interpreted my previous words accurately. This is why I repeated that. Again, Writings, recordings, and other communication ordered by the Most High Father do not fit into the category of distractions. If necessary, please rewind and listen again. Remember, it is dangerous to provide a false witness to anyone, any brother, any sister, to anyone. Back to the subject at hand. Ancient of Days versus Old. Yahusha is Ancient of Days. Many fail to come to accept that and realize that. Just in case you missed it, let me read again. Daniel 7:9 says, I was looking until the thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days was seated. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. Does that not describe Yahusha, our Mashiach? Daniel 7:13. I was looking in the night vision and saw one like the son of Enosh, coming with the clouds of heaven, and he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Yes, my brothers and sisters, the complexity of understanding Yahusha, is difficult for many, but I pray that we earnestly seek him, and we will discover to understand. We will be able to discern what is necessary for us to worship and obey correctly and righteously. Many fail to believe that Yahusha is the manifest word of Yahuwah. Many fail to acknowledge the relationship we have with the Most High Father, Yahuwah. It will be wise, my brothers and sisters, to establish, build, grow in a living relationship with the Father, Yahuwah, through the set-apart Spirit he sent in Yahusha's name. By now, many of you may have drawn opinions or wondered why I repeatedly use the word set-apart Spirit, the Almighty Father, Yahuwah, sent in Yahusha's name. You may wonder why I quote John 14:26 often. By now, many of you, though you may not have asked the Most High Father or anyone else, fail to come to grips. When we lift up Yahusha, our Mashiach, our Messiah, it is he that draws all men to himself. And we lift him up through our worship and obedience. It is Yahusha, our Mashiach, our Messiah, that is our mediator and sovereign. In these last days, during these end times, it is very critical that we come to know how we will be led by the set-apart Spirit of the Almighty Father sent in Yahusha's name. How we will be led, guided, shaped, perfected, and refined by his set-apart Spirit. If we fail to acknowledge who's leading us, it will result with increased unbelief and rebellion. If we are unable to discern and understand he that is Ancient of Days, we will miss out on righteous demonstrations of the people of the Almighty Yahuwah, Yashar'al. If we are not successful in hearing his living instructions and guidance, whether they are coming from a donkey, the stones, or us one towards another, if we fail to discern and understand and obey, we will find ourselves in a most regrettable state, my brothers and sisters. We will be at risk of judgment and or wrath, treated as obstacles, possibly rebuked as our brother Kepha or Peter when the Mashiach stated, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Oh, I pray, my brothers, I pray earnestly that we do not fall into such snares. Yashar'al will be gathered from the four corners of the earth. There is much work to accomplish, and we will witness all that is necessary to fulfill these scriptures. The Most High Father Yahuwah is and will not be asking. The Most High Father Yahuwah is and will not be asking our permission to successfully execute his plans. These are his plans, the Most High's. These are his plans that were written by him, the Ancient of Days. Can you say older than old? The Most High Father, through his set-apart Spirit sent in Yahusha's name, will make known those who he has chosen and called to lead Yashar'al. The Most High Father will prove all and successfully execute his right rulings. There will be times he will use us one towards another. Yes, my brothers and sisters, it will be wise for us to come to know we serve the living Almighty One, Yahuwah, and we can only do so by Yahusha, our Mashiach, our Messiah. Pray and watch, because soon, very soon, strongholds will dissolve among those who earnestly seek and worship to obey the most righteous one. we will experience freedom from the snares of strongholds as we grow in maturity, as we are refined, as we are perfected, as we are taught by He who is Almighty, as we are instructed by the set-apart Spirit Yahuwah sent in Yahusha's name. Be alert, my brothers and sisters. A sequence of events have begun. Yes, they have begun and will enlarge. Watch, because chaos is beginning to rise. Civil unrest is stirring. Economic upheaval is around the corner. Famine and drought has begun. Pestilence and plagues have begun. And soon and very soon they will reach our face, our doorsteps. In some cases, they have already reached the face of our brothers and sisters in other locations on the planet. Let us earnestly pray for them. Let us earnestly consider their challenges, the things that they have faced. Oh, have mercy upon them, my Father, as they fight and struggle, as they grow into true worship and obedience, as we prepare, for it will reach our face. No one is exempt, my brothers and sisters. There will be no excuses. As pertaining to rebellious individuals and those who give in to unbelief, a different experience awaits you. As for you who seek to earnestly worship and obey the Most High Father Yahuwah, and has come to accept Yahusha as Mashiach, as Messiah, be encouraged. All will be kept. All promises will be kept. All scriptures will be fulfilled. Yes, my brothers and sisters. Ancient of Days versus old. Let us realize Ancient of Days is older than old. Let us not think because we found an old tablet, old writings in the cave, or old pictures, that supersedes a living Elohim who sent his living set-apart spirit to guide us, who makes alive all that is the letter that is from him, whose word will be successful in all that they are designed to do. Yes, my brothers and sisters, I pray that we are encouraged to the very end. Until next time, my brothers, my sisters, my family, remember He that is Ancient of Days. Remember the Almighty Yahuwah is Aleph Tah, the beginning and the end. Until next time, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom.